headlines, the President emphasizes that digitalization is the foundation of the Maldives' national vision. 7 ambassadors present their letters of credence to President Dr. Muhamad, and the Foreign Minister says that the challenges of making PayPal services available in the Maldives will be solved with the assistance of the United States.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hello and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Mariam Shaushat. President Dr. Muhamad emphasizes that digitalization is the foundation of Maldives' national vision. Speaking at the Summit of the Future side event, he highlighted how digital transformation is already reshaping the country's future.
In his address, President Moise acknowledged the unique challenges faced by the Maldives, but stressed that innovation is driving progress. He pointed out how digitalization is being used to manage limited resources and improve public services. The focus of digitalization is not only to enhance economic prospects, but to improve the quality of life for all Maldivians, the President said. He also highlighted the importance of digital literacy in fostering creativity and innovation, particularly among the youth. The President stated that through the Digital Maldives program, efforts are underway to equip young people with the skills needed for the digital economy while ensuring equal access to these opportunities for women who are the backbone of the society.
We are building a digital economy that is inclusive, innovative, affordable, and sustainable. Through e-governance, we aim to make public services more efficient and transparent, and we remain committed to creating a digital society that upholds our values, protects our culture, and promotes social equity.
President Moise further disclosed the role of digitalization in tackling environmental challenges, noting that technologies such as early warning systems are helping to build a more sustainable and resilient future. While recognizing the vast opportunities that come with digitalization, the President also noted the complexities it introduces and called for global cooperation to overcome these challenges. He acknowledged that the Maldives faces financial constraints but announced a solution. He said that one of the major hurdles is a lack of capital, which is why he spearheaded the establishment of the Maldives Development Bank. This institution will focus on financing projects that support digital innovation, sustainability, and both economic and social development. He concluded by expressing confidence in the Maldives' future.
7 ambassadors present their letters of credence to President Dr. Muhamad.
The separate ceremonies held in President's office featured a cultural procession known as Haikolo, accompanied by the Maldives National Defense Force MNDF drum and trumpet band. The ambassador of the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria, Dr. Ali Achoui, presented his credentials to President Dr. Muizu. Following the formal presentation, the two discussed bilateral cooperation and opportunities for enhancing Islamic higher education. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Algeria were established on March 8, 1988. Dr. Ali will serve as a non-resident ambassador residing in India. The first ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to the Maldives, Ise Abidali Asowe, also presented his letters of credence. During the meeting, the President and the ambassador discussed cooperation in areas such as tourism and combating piracy. Between the Maldives and Djibouti was established on April 7, 2008. Ambassador Asowe will also serve as a non-resident ambassador. The ambassador of Azerbaijan, Nariman Husseinli, presented his credentials to President Dr. Muizu, who expressed admiration for Azerbaijan's cultural heritage. They discussed enhancing bilateral cooperation and the possibility of establishing a cultural college in the Maldives. Diplomatic relations between the two nations were established on June 15, 2006, and Ambassador Husseinli will serve as a non-resident ambassador. The ambassador of Bulgaria, Dr. Nikolay Yankov, presented his letters of credence to President Dr. Muizu. They explored potential cooperation in tourism, education and training, as well as enhancing international relations. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Bulgaria date back to August 14, 1984. Ambassador Yanko will serve as a non-resident ambassador residing in India. The ambassador of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam, Trinh Thi Tam, presented her credentials and discussed collaboration in trade, tourism, education and fisheries with President Dr. Muizu. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Vietnam were established on June 20, 1975. Ambassador Tam will serve as a non-resident ambassador residing in Sri Lanka. The ambassador of Georgia, Vakhtang Jaushvili, presented his letters of credence to the president. Their discussions focused on enhancing tourism cooperation and encouraging more people-to-people exchanges. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Georgia was established on March 11, 2010, with Ambassador Jaushvili serving as a non-resident ambassador residing in India. The ambassador of Qatar, Jassim bin Jaber Al Surur, also presented his credentials to President Dr. Muizu. During their discussion, the president and the ambassador explored ways to expand bilateral relations with a focus on trade and investment opportunities. Diplomatic relations between the Maldives and Qatar were established on March 11, 2010. Ambassador Al Surur will serve as a non-resident ambassador residing in Sri Lanka.
Foreign Minister Musa Zamir says that the challenges of making PayPal services available in the Maldives will be solved with the assistance of United States. He made the remarks during the ceremony held to mark the one-year anniversary of the establishment of U.S. Embassy in the Maldives.
Speaking at the ceremony, Minister Zamir noted that the introduction of PayPal will benefit the economy as part of the growing relationship between Maldives and the United States. Noting that the Maldives is a small market, Minister Zamir stated that the U.S. will aid the country in overcoming the challenges faced due to this. Additionally, the minister highlighted the improvements in strengthening the relationship between Maldives and the United States in recent years. As such, he noted that the U.S. and Maldives held talks on the Third Trade and Investment Framework Agreement last July. He also requested to make visa arrangements more convenient for Maldivians traveling to the U.S.
As we reflect on the achievements of the past year, it is equally important to look forward to opportunities lie ahead. One of the most promising opportunities on the horizon is the introduction of PayPal service to the Maldives, a key pledge of President Dr. Muiz. Economic Minister, my colleague, Minister Said, has been working tirelessly to bring this initiative to fruition.
Taking the podium at the event, the U.S. Ambassador to Maldives, Hugo Yon, noted that the relationship between the United States and Maldives is based on democracy, freedom and sovereignty, as well as sustainable economy and increasing resilience to climate change. In his remarks, the ambassador highlighted the importance of further strengthening the relationship between the people of the two countries.
We in the United States very much support Maldives' desire to strengthen and protect its sovereignty in all fields, and at the same time to be a friend to all nations, especially when it comes to the use of those critical sea lanes that pass through Maldives' vast ocean territory. We all rely on those sea lanes, as does the global economy. So thank you.
Speaking to PSMNEWS after the ceremony, Ambassador Hugo Yon noted that the maritime area of Maldives is an important area for world trade and stated that it is important for the two countries to work together in this regard as well.
Well, for one, we need this embassy to be a platform to really increase people-to-people ties. Right? Maldives is critically important, right? As a democracy, as an island nation, as a place that the big ocean territory covers these sea lanes that the whole world relies on, right? So if you want to benefit the world, you got to have people to people working together. So we have to just expand those touch points.
The Maldives and the United States established relations in 1965. Since then, the two countries have worked to strengthen relations at various levels. As part of these efforts, the first U.S. ambassador to the Maldives was appointed in September 2023, following the establishment of a U.S. embassy in the country.
Minister of Agriculture and Animal Welfare, Dr. Aishat Ramila, announces that the 200-hectare agricultural economic zone in Uttara Tilafalu, UTF, will begin operations in January next year. President Dr. Muhammad unveiled this major agricultural project aimed at reducing food imports and ensuring food security in the Maldives. The government expects the project to not only decrease reliance on imported food but also provide access to healthier, locally produced items. Speaking to PSM News, Minister Ramila confirmed that the project is moving forward with the Environmental Impact Assessment (EIA) for land reclamation underway. She highlighted that this initiative is one of the government's most promising ventures, addressing key economic and social challenges. She also said that the project is scheduled to commence operations in January 2025. Additionally, Minister Ramila elaborated that 200 hectares of land will be dedicated to the project. She said that the first phase will cover 100 hectares and focus on greenhouse farming of crops currently imported into the country. She also said that the second phase will focus on cultivating underground crops like onions and potatoes, and a poultry farm will be established to reduce reliance on imported eggs. The government aims to boost food security by providing affordable, high-quality food in the Maldives. A Chinese company will lead the development and operation of the project, with funding discussions already underway between the Agricultural Ministry and Chinese authorities. Maldivian company M-Deep Investment collaborates with a Japanese company to develop the first ever salt factory in the island nation. Construction work of the project has now been commenced in Tiddu, Hadalu Atoll.
The Island Council of Tiddu leased the company 15,000 acres of land from the island for 15 years to build a salt factory. The Island Council notes that this investment will not only increase the income of the council, but also create new job opportunities for the island population. Speaking to PSM News on the project, owner of M-Deep Investment, which will be operating the salt factory, Hussein Rizal, stated that the decision for such an investment in the island nation was made to use the natural resources available in the country beneficially. He noted that the aim was to introduce a new business. Rizal further noted that the company commenced the work on the project after testing the quality of the sea salt of the Maldivian Ocean. He highlighted that the test results showed that the Maldivian sea salt is of higher quality and high in health benefits compared to other countries' sea salt. The factory is being developed to produce salt by naturally drying salt water using sunlight and heat. Rizal said the construction of the factory will be completed by the end of 2024. He disclosed that 20% of the construction work is now completed. Rizal stated that the company aims to test the product in large production prior to determining the amount of salt that can be produced by the factory. He added that the biggest advantage of such a factory in Maldives is that the country experiences sunny weather year-round. Preparing a batch of salt will take up to a week. Fresh salt will be prepared after filtering and cleaning the salt from the sea, and batches made will be tested monthly in Maldives and Japan. Rizal notes that the factory will commence its production with 5 to 6 workers. The factory will be producing 3 types of salt.
The government of the Maldives outlines its vision for infrastructure development projects to the Asian Development Bank (ADB). Minister of Construction and Infrastructure Dr. Abdullah Muttalib made the announcement during a meeting with ADB officials. During the meeting, Dr. Muttalib provided details on the various projects currently underway in the Maldives construction sector. He also discussed the financial challenges the government is facing in executing these initiatives. He also gave an update on the ongoing structural development projects of the nation. Minister was joined by Minister of State Ibrahim Toa Muhammad, Permanent Secretary Muhammad Shamil, Chief Accounts Executive Nasira Musa, and other members of the Construction Ministry's technical team during the meeting. The ADB is supporting several development projects in the Maldives. Chinese consumer inflation ticks up slightly in August to a 6-month high, official data shows, but the reading missed expectations and did little to soothe worries about sluggish spending in the world's #2 economy.
Leaders in Beijing have been seeking to boost domestic activity as property sector woes and trade frictions weigh on confidence. The Consumer Price Index, CPI, a key measure of inflation, rose 0.6% year-on-year in August, up slightly from 0.5% in July, the National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) said. The figure was the highest since February but came in slightly lower than the 0.7% forecast in a Bloomberg survey of economists. While many major Western economies have been grappling with the threat of high inflation, China has instead been seeking to avert another dip into deflation. At the end of 2023, the country went into deflation for 4 months, with the sharpest contraction in consumer prices in 14 years in January. Zhang Jiwei, president and chief economist at Pinpoint Asset Management, in a note said that deflation remains a major risk for China's economy. Zhang added that the fiscal policy stance needs to become more proactive in order to prevent the deflationary expectations from being entrenched. The NBS also announced on Monday that factory gate prices slid 1.8% year-on-year, extending a deflationary run that has lasted since late 2022. Chinese officials have ramped up support measures for the private sector recently in a bid to stimulate activity and spur on household consumption. However, they have refused to unveil the bazooka-like stimulus seen during the global financial crisis and which many have called for. Beijing has said it wants annual economic growth this year of around 5%. But this is considered ambitious by many experts as a property sector crisis and high youth unemployment continue to complicate efforts to achieve a full post-pandemic recovery.
Bangladesh's War Crimes Tribunal is to seek the extradition of ousted leader Sheikh Hasina from neighboring India, its chief prosecutor says, accusing her of carrying out massacres.
Weeks of student-led demonstrations in Bangladesh escalated into mass protests last month, with Hasina quitting as Prime Minister and fleeing by helicopter to old ally India on August 5, ending her iron-fisted 15-year rule. Muhamad Tajul Islam, Chief Prosecutor of Bangladesh International Crimes Tribunal (ICT), told reporters that as the main perpetrator has fled the country, the legal procedure to bring her back will begin. The ICT was set up by Hasina in 2010 to probe atrocities during the 1971 independence war from Pakistan. Hasina's government was accused of widespread human rights abuses, including the mass detention and extrajudicial killing of her political opponents. Islam added that Bangladesh has a criminal extradition treaty with India which was signed in 2013 while Sheikh Hasina's government was in power. Hasina, 76-year-old, has not been seen in public since fleeing Bangladesh, and her last official whereabouts is a military airbase near India's capital, New Delhi. Her presence in India has infuriated Bangladesh. Dhaka has revoked her diplomatic passport, and the countries have a bilateral extradition treaty which would permit her return to face criminal trial. A clause in the treaty, however, says extradition might be refused if the offense is of a political character. Interim leader Muhammad Yunus, a Nobel Peace Prize winner who took over after the uprising last week, said Hasina should keep quiet while exiled in India until she is brought home for trial. His government has been under public pressure to demand her extradition and trial over the hundreds of demonstrators killed during the weeks of unrest that ultimately toppled her.
Minister of Sports, Fitness and Recreation Abdullah Rafiu announces that the Athletics Association of the Maldives is aiming to qualify for the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles, USA. He made this statement during a meeting with the Maldivian team set to compete in the upcoming South Asian Junior Athletics Championship. The South Asian Junior Athletics Championships will take place in Chennai, India, from September 11th to 13th, with the Maldives sending a squad of 16 athletes, including 8 male and 8 female participants. A special send-off ceremony was held for the team, attended by Minister Rafiu, Commissioner of Sports Muhammad Tolal, and officials from the Athletics Association. Speaking at the ceremony, Minister Rafiu highlighted the ministry's new focus on Olympic qualification for 2028. He noted that while the Indian Ocean Island Games (IOIG) have been a significant event, the ministry is now shifting its attention to larger international stages. He emphasized the importance of collaboration with the Athletics Association to improve conditions for athletes and outlined a long-term plan for continued development leading up to 2028. And that's all we have for you right now. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Goodbye.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا